What is up, guys? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more, you guessed it, r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. Now, over on YouTube yesterday, we had some new members. We had Winter Ravenheart, Flesh Rebellion, Siglia Lemos, Poppy Lily, Medstat, I don't know if I got your name right there, and also over on Patreon we had Kerid Win over here too, Marlinia, and Kihato. I don't know if I got those names right, and if I got them wrong, I do apologise. You guys do test me with them. And just a huge thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time out of your days to be here. It is absolutely amazing for what you do, and do not forget that. Thank you so much, and let's just crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. And our first story is coming from Imaginary Chemical 8, and it does have an update as well with quite a, surprising ending. Am I the arsehole for getting mad about my boyfriend's guy nights? Obligatory on mobile. So me and my boyfriend C have the same friend group. There's 5 guys and 3 girls, including myself, who are all dating guys in this group. For context, I was introduced to the group 4 years ago, and I started dating C over a year ago. He joined a year before we dated. Anyway, onto the story. So the boys in my friend group have all started a thing called Guys Night, where they go out and do everything we all do together, but without us girls. Here's the thing, all of my friends are the boys. I don't know the girls in the group too well, and while I have friends outside the group, I'm nowhere near as close with them as I am this group. They say they need to spend some quality time with their friends, and that if I went, they'd have to invite their girlfriends. And it's not every so often, it's every 2 weeks on a Saturday, which is the one day I can go out. So basically, while my boyfriend goes out with all my friends, I have to be stuck at home by myself. And what's worse is when we all do hang out, they constantly bring up stuff that happened on guys' night saying, you had to be there. This has been going on for months. Last night my boyfriend came over to mine from guys' night really happy, and he was texting his friends when I asked him why I couldn't go. He made a vague gesture at my chest and crotch saying I wasn't a guy. I then asked him why he couldn't skip it to spend the night with me, and he rolled his eyes. I lost it. I started crying and screaming at him, calling him an arsehole for allowing me to be completely isolated when I told him how shitty it is. He ended up leaving and calling me a bitch. He's staying with one of our friends who's saying I was being an arsehole for yelling at him that way. The girls all agree with me though, and I don't know if I should apologise. Edit, I feel like everyone is confusing what I'm saying. I'm not mad he has his own hobbies, that's amazing. I'm just upset I'm being excluded because of my gender from my friends who I introduced him to. I've been told explicitly this by him and his friends. Also, we don't live together and I only see him a few times a week. Edit 2, I should also add my boyfriend sees all his friends during the week, but they schedule guys night on the one night I can go out. As I said in a comment, I see him 2 to 3 times a week, and he sees them at least 4 times, 5 on guys nights. I see my friends once a fortnight. Now, I'm not going to give my comment on this one because it will be biased to what I've already read in the update, but let me tell you, it gets spicy. Brightside says, not the arsehole, and I can't believe how many people are being dicks about it after having misread your post and you clearly stating multiple times in the comments. 1, you don't have a problem with him hanging out with the guys per se. 2, you don't live together. And 3, you're upset because literally the only time you have free to spend time with your friends happens to fall on the same night you're being excluded from the friend group. You are not the arsehole, but the people posing here that you are, without taking the time to think critically before responding to beat you up, are the arseholes. And if your guy can't see that, he is selfish. If your guy friends can't see that, get new friends because they suck. Good luck. iOS says, everyone sucks here but only slightly. This is an awful situation all around. You can't expect to be included in everything. They're allowed to have boys' nights out, but I do suggest you find some new friends though, as they clearly don't look at you as a close friend the same way you look at them. If they purposely exclude you half the time you can go out, that should tell you a thing or two about how they feel about you. Also, your boyfriend sounds like an arsehole. Gesturing to your body and using that as an excuse just made my blood boil. I absolutely hate it when people do that. So yeah, find new friends, people who actually care about you and want to spend time with you. And Equal Independence 1 says, you're the arsehole. One day every 2 weeks he wants to do something with just his boys and you throw a childish temper tantrum. If I was in his shoes, I'd probably drop you. Now, we're going to go straight to the update to see what that says. So about 2 weeks ago I posted here asking if I was the arsehole for getting mad at my boyfriend for his guys nights. The post didn't get a lot of attention, but the attention it did get was controversial and there was a lot of differing opinions, so I figured I'd do as an update as a lot has happened. So after I posted, I ended up contacting the girlfriends in the group to see what was up, and we started noticing some fishy stuff. Their boyfriends and the guys in the group would say the exact same things to them as they did to me. Stuff like, would invite you but then the other girls will want to come. We also figured out that there were other nights that all the guys were free, but wanted to do Saturdays for some reason. One of the girls, H, was suspicious for this, as many other reasons, so she checked her boyfriend's phone. I don't condone what she did at all, by the way, but in this circumstance, I excuse it. While looking, she found a group chat called Boys Night, which she had never heard of. She was super suspicious at this point and clicked it to be greeted by a bunch of very interesting messages from the boys in our group. Well, guess what? Turns out Guys Night was really go to the pub and cheat on your girlfriend night. The message was in reference to one of the girls my boyfriend was sleeping with last week. In fact, all the other guys except one were cheating, while the other knew but kept quiet. Another lovely discovery from the chat was that he hasn't been using protection with the other women or me, birth control, meaning that not only has he been cheating, he has also been putting me in high risk of an STD, while also risking mine and my elderly grandfather's life because of COVID. Needless to say, we've broken up and I feel better for it, but right now I'm friendless, single and waiting on STD results, which doesn't feel fantastic. So yep, definitely not the update I was hoping to do, but life clearly doesn't turn out the way you plan. Edit. Wow, I really wasn't expecting this response. Thank you for all the kind words. I'm at work at the moment and will try to respond as much as possible. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. And thank you for the award. I'm very overwhelmed by all the kindness. Wow, and I got to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to turn out that way, you know. And although it's an absolutely awful time for OP now, what she's going through, she's having to have an STD test and all this kind of thing, and she just broke up with her boyfriend because he's been cheating on her. Absolutely crazy, but, you know, now it's time to reclaim your life. You've been knocked down, now build yourself back up. Find yourself someone who loves you. But now I turn it to you guys. What would you do in this situation if you was OP? Imagine at the start when your boyfriend was having these boys nights. Would you confront him about it? Would you do something about it? And would you even be suspicious about it? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Shadikalo. I hope I got that name right. Am I the arsehole for kicking my sister out because she tried flirting with my husband? I, 27 female, have a little sister, Emily, 20 female. My husband, 27 male, and I have been together since our college days. Back when we started dating, Emily, who was 13 to 14 then, seemed to have this little crush on my husband, then boyfriend. She would blush in his presence, stutter while talking to him, etc. We assumed the crush went away as she grew older and her behaviour indicated so. My husband thinks of Emily as the little sister he never had, and treats her as such. We've not had much contact with Emily over the years as we live in a different state, at the other side of the country. And she's been busy with her schooling. Last week my parents and Emily were visiting our house for my birthday weekend. From the moment Emily arrived, she would not stop flirting with my husband, from excessively complimenting everything he did to proclaiming things like they would make a great pair, etc, etc. My husband looked very uncomfortable and so did my parents. I don't know how we got through the dinner. After the evening was done, my husband asked me if there was something wrong with Emily and that why she was behaving like that. He said that she made him very uncomfortable and asked me to talk to her. So I found her alone and tried telling her that it was fine if she had a crush, but it's never fine to make anyone uncomfortable. I told her that it would be nice if she kept their distance for the remaining 2 days they were here, since he was not okay with this behaviour. She said she wasn't being flirty or improper. I told her that she was indeed being inappropriate and it was very creepy that she would try to flirt with my husband. She got very defensive and said that I was being insecure and I quote, "If I really was flirting with him, you wouldn't stand a chance." I lost it at this point and told her that she's no longer welcome in my house and should fuck off the first thing in the morning. Emily and my parents left the very next day, even though my dad agreed that Emily's behaviour throughout the evening was very inappropriate and that she should apologise to my husband. Mum thinks nothing of the sort happened and all three of us are being delusional, and that it was a dick move to kick Emily, and by extension her, out of my house when they travelled all the way here. Am I the arsehole? Wow, your sister's got some serious issues, man. Who does that? Like, who sits at a dinner table when you're all there and just looking across at your husband and saying, yeah, we'd make a great pair? What the hell? That's crossing the line right there. And good for your husband for actually speaking up and saying, look, it's making me uncomfortable. Can you talk to her? And then she turned around to you and said that you wouldn't stand a chance if she actually was trying it on. Absolutely not the arsehole in this case. And you know, if she's going to have that attitude, she's going to have some real problems later on in life. She got some serious issues going on, in my opinion. Wow. Ineffable B says, and quotes, proclaiming things like they would make a great pair. Lol, your sister is dealing with some issues. You're definitely not the arsehole here. Your partner came to you feeling extremely uncomfortable about your sister's actions. You diplomatically brought it up to your sister's attention, and she got defensive instead of apologising. Again, not the arsehole. You did all you could. It was either kick her out or force your partner to be uncomfortable in his own home. Beautiful Starlight says, not the arsehole. Your husband confirmed your instincts when he told you that your sister's behaviour made him uncomfortable. And her response, if I really was flirting with him, you wouldn't stand a chance, cements the fact that you did the right thing. If she were truly innocent, she'd apologise and amend her behaviour. Cake of Shadow says, not the arsehole. Even your dad thought she was out of line, man. And Empress Jaina Solo says, not the arsehole. It doesn't matter whether she was technically trying to flirt or not. What matters is she's making your husband uncomfortable. Was offered a reasonable boundary and refused to change or even think about her behaviour. While her view about flirting is concerning, it's not the immediate issue. Emily is 20, so I'm unsure why kicking her out means kicking out your parents. Now, what do you think of this scenario, and what would you do if you was in OP's shoes and say your sister or brother was flirting with your other half so openly like that? How would you deal with it? Would you do like OP did and kick them out, or would you deal with it in a different way? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Extreme Bandicoot. Am I the arsehole for telling my sister she's not family? Before I start, I want to say this isn't a step, half, whatever family situation. She's my full-blooded sister. My sister Jenny, fake name, has always had a weird idea of marriage. She's always believed that when you get married, you leave your family and join your husband's family. While that is a normal thing, she believes it to an extreme. That when you leave your family, you completely leave them. They aren't your family anymore. This isn't how we grew up. We were very involved with both sides of our family as kids. It was a joining of families when our parents got married. When my sister got married, both sides were at the wedding, then Jenny cut us all off. She doesn't have any contact with any of us. It sucked, but I moved on. When I got married, I sent her an invite and surprisingly heard back. She says I wasn't her family, so she wasn't coming, but she wished my marriage the best. A few years later, I sent her a message when my first child was born. She told me it wasn't going to work out because I didn't know how marriage and family worked. I gave up reaching out. Life moved on, and a few months ago, I had a message from Jenny. She told me her house burned down and she had 4 kids. She asked me if her and her family could stay with me until they got back on their feet. I happily agreed and thought that this was a new beginning for us. They stayed for a month before they had a new house. When they moved, she went back to the usual no contact, saying we weren't her family. This irritated me and I was done with it. Last week, Jenny messaged me asking for help again. Her husband lost his job due to an accident. I think I was the arsehole here, but I reminded her that I wasn't her sister and told her she needed to ask her family. I admit that it was mean, but I'm not only her sister when she needs something. I was talking to my mum about it and she told me I was wrong for not helping. She sent her a check for a couple of grand. I'm now being told that's not how family treats each other and that I needed to apologise to my sister. Am I the arsehole? Now this could be like 2 scenarios here. Either Jenny's just a complete leech, or there's something deeper going on. I always like to think a little bit deeper. You know what I'm like, guys. Like, I'm either thinking sort of like cult or something like that, where she thinks it's so ingrained in her, like, once you do get married, that you're not family anymore and all that sort of thing. You cut all ties. Or, you know, there could be emotional abuse going on. We really don't know, so we can only speculate at this point. But let's just play it. Let's just call it the leech thing for now. And if that's the case, totally not the arsehole at all. Like you said, she can't just be your sister when she just needs money, because that's just not right. That's not right, is it? However, I think it'd be really interesting to know, with that month where she did stay with OP, what behaviours did OP see in that situation? Was the other half controlling in any way? Was there any sort of cultish things going on? It'd be really interesting to know. But let's have a look at some of the comments to see what they say. That Jedi girl says, not the arsehole. Apparently Jenny only thinks you're family when she needs something. That's called a leech, not a sister. Reverse Who says, not the arsehole. I would also look into seeing if her husband is controlling her or she is part of a cult. Doward7899 says, not the arsehole. She missed your wedding and your first child because she didn't believe you were family. Time for you to cut ties with her. A bit extreme of a situation for you to do, but it should send her a permanent lesson. Queen Oreo says, not the arsehole. Jenny can ask her husband for help. You don't give any strangers money. What the fuck? And a random name I can't pronounce says, not the arsehole. Why on earth would any rational person with feelings continue to help someone that wouldn't lift a finger to help them back? Something is seriously off with your sister. Your mum is no help by enabling her behaviour and wanting you to apologise. She cuts contact with you until she needs something. I'd take note and completely cut contact for good. Now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation and what do you think is going on? Do you think she's just literally being a leech in the situation, or do you think there's something deeper happening? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Linza10. Am I the arsehole for making my baby a rainbow blanket when she's not a rainbow baby? Long time lurker, first time poster. Posting this because I can see both sides and I'm genuinely curious if I shouldn't have done this. I, 29 female, love to crochet and I'm currently pregnant. One of my favourite things to make are baby blankets, so naturally I've made a few more for this baby we are expecting. I also have an almost 3-year-old son, who I've been trying to involve as much as I can, so he's somewhat prepared for his baby sister. I decided to let him pick out a colour yarn for one of the blankets, and he picked out a literal rainbow coloured, vibrant, variegated yarn. He loves bright colours and bright things. Most baby blankets are done with soft muted colours, so I had no problem with one blanket in this colour. I started working on the blanket a few days ago and have made some decent progress. My son loves to see it and mentions the rainbow for baby sister every time he does. Oh, I love that. I have several friends who I know crochet, and while I don't advertise anything, I do occasionally do commissions. I had a friend ask me what I was currently working on and if I'd be able to make her a blanket for her sister's upcoming baby. I sent her a picture of the rainbow blanket I'm currently doing, and she asked who it was for. I told her it was for my baby and she asked whether I had a secret miscarriage before the baby. When I told her no, she went off on me saying it was very disrespectful to make myself a rainbow blanket when I hadn't suffered a miscarriage and therefore I wasn't having a rainbow baby. This really surprised me as the thought hadn't even crossed my mind. I have no intention of posting anything about this blanket anywhere or mentioning anything about it, but I can see where someone may think this baby is a rainbow baby if we use the blanket in public. Am I the arsehole for making a blanket that could disrespect someone who had suffered through pregnancy losses? I can see her point, but I was really just trying to involve my son. Edit, wow, I never expected this much of a response. I posted this on a lazy, rainy Sunday while I was working on the exact blanket in question. Thank you to everyone for your input. I'd been second guessing myself and I wanted to be sure my pregnant hormonal self wasn't missing something I should have seen. I'll try to respond to as many as I can when I get a chance tomorrow. Now, I'm going to be really ignorant here, and I've never heard of this before. I've never heard of rainbow babies and having a blanket for people that have miscarried and things like that. I've never heard of that. And I'm not saying like it doesn't exist or whatever. I'm just saying I literally haven't heard of that. So me personally coming into this, I wouldn't see any issue with it whatsoever because it's just, it's a rainbow blanket for God's sake. It's just colours on a blanket that you really like. But coming from the other side of it, if this is a huge thing that I just don't know about, I can totally see why, it might be frowned upon at the same time. I don't know, I'm a bit confused with this one. But Nebula Solar says, info. Okay, I'm actually being serious here. Since when was it decided that rainbows were only for miscarriages now? See, I'm glad I'm not the only one, right? And Spinning Farts, great name, says, not the arsehole, I've had 7 miscarriages and I've never heard of this bullshit. Rainbows are a broad symbol and they aren't owned by any particular group. If you like rainbows, make a rainbow blanket. Not Good Happy Quinn says, speaking as someone currently pregnant with a rainbow baby, not the arsehole. Rainbows aren't reserved for those of us that have suffered miscarriages. Your friend is an arsehole, more so if she herself hasn't had a miscarriage because then she has no right to comment. You finish your blanket and congratulations on your pregnancy. Hyperdrive92 says, not the arsehole. I have no idea what rainbow babies even were till I brought home a cute little rainbow wall art and my wife told me. I just liked it because it was cute. It's your child. If you want to make a lovely homemade rainbow blanket, then I hope it's as bright as hell. Congrats on your little one. And Miley30 says, you're crocheting your baby blanket out of colours your son picked and you like, period. The colours do not have to mean anything and it's silly for people to be upset with you if they choose to misinterpret this. Not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys think of this situation? Have you ever heard of this before? Because this is totally new to me. And would you be offended by someone like making a rainbow blanket if you was in that situation? Let me know in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. You know how much it does mean to me. Your support, everything that you've been doing for me just recently has been absolutely incredible. And I'm just so thankful for it. I cannot tell you how much. I can't express it. And just a reminder, as some of you keep asking about merch still, we do have a merch store which is down in the description below. It's by Teespring. I'm making some stickers soon, which I'm actually creating. I'm hoping to have them ready by this weekend, but I can't promise that, as I just got so much stuff going on right now. But loads of you have bought some merch from that Teespring store, and if you have, I'd love to see it on Twitter, to see you wearing it. It'd be absolutely amazing. I'm so buzzing about that. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can by clicking that join button below on YouTube, or heading on over to Patreon, where we have different tiers and things like that. There will be a new members video coming out very soon. I was trying to post every Sunday, but you know, life gets in the way, but it's coming very soon. And I do try to cover different subreddits when we do read them. Anyway, thank you for being here today. I hope you have a great day ahead of you, whatever you're doing, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. And I will see you soon. Much love, guys. Goodbye.